Welcome to the Viking Age podcast. This is the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. My name is Chris Schad. I write for the Viking Age again, as well as ZoneCoverage.com. My co-host is Adam Patrick, managing editor of the Viking Age and lead editor of Fansided. We do this right here of the NFL division, at Fansided. We do this right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. We are also in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode and we can spread the word to the masses. On today's show, 3 Deep is back. At least that's what the kids are saying who never actually saw 3 Deep. Then the Vikings held their rookie mini camp, which was basically one practice. So we got winners, losers, and all the hot takes coming. Actually, no, we don't. But there's a couple things out of there. And, the schedule comes out on Thursday. So maybe we'll get to that as long as we get this done before wild puck drop here. But first, Adrian Peterson getting a polarizing honor from the Minnesota Vikings. He is going to be inducted into the Ring of Honor, which very cool by the Vikings Entertainment Network. They had this whole thing where Adrian Peterson went to TCO Performance Center to go talk to the rookies during minicamp, and then John Randall showed up, which if you're going to make anything cool, like calling John Randall's a good first step, just like, hey, we got this thing. What do you think we could do here? Oh, is John Randall available? Oh, yeah, John Randall's available. John Randall did, I don't know if you know this, Adam. John Randall did Let's Play Hockey.
I did see that. I did see it.
Game 3 of the WoW game. They won by 4 goals. Not a coincidence in my book.
They're undefeated the last 2 times a Vikings player's done that, right? Because Jefferson did it the last series, right?
Well, did Jefferson? But I think Jefferson was the double OT game, wasn't it?
It might have been, yeah. But no.
Yeah, because they lost that game.
Was it that game? Oh, it might have been. Yeah. I don't know, but either way.
I mean, it was a long-ass game. Everybody was asleep by the end of it.
Yeah.
Not because it wasn't exciting or anything, just because it was a double overtime game that got done at like 12 in the morning.
I feel like I'm doomed now because I'm not up to speed on my wild playoff history right now.
We're not all jumping on the bandwagon. And I mean, anybody who's watched the Viking Age over the years knows I haven't been the most positive Wild fan, but maybe I'm just excited for the game tonight. Anyway, no date has been set for Adrian Peterson's induction. There's a whole bunch of comments and everything else. Of course, Peterson is the Vikings all-time leader in yards, touchdowns, and yards per game. He is 5th in NFL history in rushing yards. Still not retired, which kind of gets us to our next point. He's kind of a mess off the field. 2014 child abuse case where he was indicted for injuring his 4-year-old son with a switch, which if you don't know and are from the north, that's a tree branch basically. 2022, he was arrested at LAX for a domestic altercation with his wife. Charges were dropped, of course, when he said his wife did not hit her. He's missed child support hearings recently, had a fight at a poker game last year that almost turned into a celebrity boxing thing because he's severely in debt, and he's had DUIs in 2024 and 2025, most notably driving home from the Vikings draft party. So I do not say all of that to make fun of Adrian Peterson. I am giving the full story here because it is, like I said, it's very polarizing for some Vikings fans. So instead of they're playing a podcast that can talk about the good memories, and we'll probably do some of that here. But I guess the first question I have for you is, should Adrian Peterson be inducted in the Vikings Ring of Honor?
Yeah, I think so. I think what he did on the field in terms, people are inducted in the Ring of Honor for what they did for the team on the field. Some of it has to do with how they represented the team off the field, of course, but it kind of feels like it would be weird to have a Vikings Ring of Honor if Adrian Peterson was not in it, considering he's easily the greatest running back to ever put on a Vikings uniform. Yes, I know he's had plenty of off the field issues. I am not a big supporter of his, but you can't ignore what he did on the field as a player, and that's what this induction is for. So yeah, I think he gave people a lot of good memories with his play on the field, really ignited the Vikings when they were in a slump there for a little bit after Mike Tice got fired and they hired Brad Childress. He kind of came on in 2007 as a rookie and just immediately just added a spark to the Vikings when they needed it badly. He was part of that 2009 NFC Championship team, which, like, sometimes you forget because that team was just so stacked. Like, you're just like, "Oh, yeah, Adrian Peterson was on that team." It wasn't just Brett Favre, Jared Allen, Williams Wall. Like, yeah, Adrian Peterson was the running back. He was just we forget, like, that first game of the year against the Browns, he had that crazy
The stiff
run
arm.
where he stiff-armed people. I think that was the same season too where he played the Steelers and stepped on the Steelers DB after he got the ball. So a lot of that was a fun season as well. Obviously, 2012, his MVP season. He's the last non-quarterback still to win the MVP. Um, and then he helped the Vikings in 2015 after he came back after being suspended for a year. He helped them get to the playoffs. The departure was not the greatest. And I'm pretty sure he hasn't really officially retired yet. He's still always, always ready to go. But he hasn't played for a team, I believe, since the Seahawks in like week 9 of 2021. So currently he's eligible for the Pro Football Hall of Fame unless he signs and plays for another team. I don't think anyone's really interested in his services right now. He's probably in great shape, but not really ready to deal with whatever he's got going on right now. But yeah, he's going to be in the Ring of Honor. I'm gonna predict and assume it's gonna be at the halftime of whenever the Packers, home game is, because I feel like that's just something the Vikings would do. They wanna have a big ceremony probably around one of the most, iconic, popular players, of their franchise's history against one of their biggest franchise rivals, maybe against the Bears or Lions, but I would assume it would happen on, like, against the Packers or in a Monday night game against the Bears or Sunday night against the Lions or something like that. I don't think they're playing the Saints at home this year. I think they're going to New Orleans or Paris, possibly. Um, so yeah, I mean, it'd be weird. There are people in the Ring of Honor who have done things that aren't that great either off the field. He's not the first. He won't be the last. That doesn't mean that doesn't excuse what he did or what he's continuing to do off the field. But this is, strictly on the field stuff. And if the Vikings felt like it was okay to do it, then it's okay. I don't think they would have gone through with this if they, had any questions about it. But yeah, it would just be odd to not. It's kind of like baseball right now not having their career home runs leader in the Hall of Fame. I understand he took steroids, but pretty much everybody and their wives took steroids during that period of time. So it would just be odd to not have him in the Ring of Honor, and he's probably going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer too, because he's eligible this year, and he'll find out about that around the Super Bowl in February. So Ring of Honor first, and then probably Gold Jacket
Yeah.
in the following year. So not surprised, but yeah, there's certainly you can't ignore everything that's happened with him off the field either. It's kind of not to Thielen is not to the degree of Peterson, but when you talk about, just like when you talk about Thielen, you can't just push aside some of the stuff that have rubbed people the wrong way, and Peterson has certainly done that much more than Adam Thielen. I don't want to put those two exactly in the same sphere, but yeah.
Well, here's the thing. You talked about people do dumb things all like Randy Moss is in the Ring of Honor, but he was
Yeah,
just a lot of things were just him being a knucklehead. Like he got busted with weed and like ran over a traffic cop and like
Chris Carter.
yeah, Chris Carter was on cocaine. Like that's another, player that did some bad things in the past, but he turned things around. You still hold out hope just from a human element that Adrian in this stage of light kind of turns it around. It's not going too well right now, but it's very weird because I think a lot of older fans, I'm a little too young to remember this, but I think a lot of older fans believe that Anthony Carter should be in the Hall of Fame because of his postseason performances
The
in the
Ring of
late
Honor?
80s. Yep. And I mean, he's got battery arrests in 1998 and 2000.
Yep.
2003, he had a guilty plea for assault with an aggravated weapon. That's another guy that you could have this conversation about. But when it comes to Adrian Peterson's on-field accomplishments, he absolutely deserves it. Like that is a player that is like you talk about like my experience as a Vikings fan. It was Chris Carter and John Randall. Then it went to Randy Moss, and that's a lot of Vikings fans' origin stories. Yeah, Culpepper was in there too. Then it went to Adrian Peterson. And
but there's like a 5-year span or 4 or 5 year span in between those eras.
When Randy Moss got traded to the Raiders, there wasn't really an identity. And then in 2007, I remember that draft well because I remember Peterson was supposed to go to the Browns. I think they had the 3rd overall pick, and the Browns didn't take him. And like all of a sudden he started sliding. And I was working I think it was probably like a 10 or 12 hour shift at Menards with my little flip phone, checking in and out. And we got Peterson, and I looked it up in front of everybody, and I started like celebrating. And my asshole boss at Menards was like, "You need to clock out for the moments you." So I like clocked out for like a minute, and I'm like, "All right, cool, whatever. Welcome to Menards." So anyway.
Didn't he have like weren't people worried about like his collarbone or something? He had
he had a collarbone injury at Oklahoma, I believe.
Did he ever injure his collarbone in the NFL? I don't think he did.
I don't think he did. I know he had the meniscus in, what was it, 2016?
Yeah, he had the ACL.
Yeah, and of course the ACL. I mean, one of the greatest seasons by a running back ever, coming off of multi-ligament knee injury. We haven't even talked about that. He put Christian Ponder on his back and ran to the playoffs, basically. Yeah. And I think, too, he's one of the most electric Vikings of all time. Yep. Right up there with Randy Moss, Percy Harvin, Justin Jefferson. Maybe you could toss Dalvin Cook in there, and maybe just because well...
Kidding him.
Who did you say to? You said Cordero Patterson.
I said rookie year Cordero. I was semi-joking because I just remember the snow game against the Ravens when he just... Because that year Cordero was like the proper way he was used, because they were just... They're saying, fuck it, whatever, we suck anyways, just do whatever you want, kid. And he had 9 touchdowns.
Backyard football, yeah.
And he had like 2 kickoff returns. So like that, you could say he was electric, but it was not to the degree of like Percy Harvin or Randy Moss. And like I told you, Randy Moss, he was electric just because it was speed. But it was super speed. He was like, Sonic the Hedgehog out there. He got the ball and like just blew by everybody. Just look at the Thanksgiving game against the Cowboys when he caught the ball on the sideline and just nobody could get him.
The thing about Randy Moss is like nobody was doing that when he came into the league, where it was just like a go ball and like just throw it as far as you can. I'll go get it. Like that's what the Packers drafted like 5 cornerbacks in the 1999 draft because they're like, shit, what are we going to do?
And kind of Percy was kind of like that too, where he was kind of like the first of his breed too, where he just kind of tossed him the ball on a bubble screen and he got 20 yards out of it. He was like Deebo Samuel before Deebo Samuel. And he probably would have been as good as as good of a career as Deebo Samuel if he was able to stay healthy, but injuries were a thing because he actually enjoyed contact. But it's just funny that 2009 team. I feel like if there was ever to be like a multi-part documentary on the Vikings, that 2009 team would be a great candidate because there's just so many different tentacles when it comes to Peterson, Percy Harvin, Jared Allen, Brett Favre. Like there's just so many different things from that season that I think people would be interested in. But yeah, like Peterson, anytime he got the ball, he could break it. And that's something the Vikings had a bit with at least early Dalvin Cook, but they haven't had that, that kind of power and speed since Peterson. And I don't know too many teams that have, like Derrick Henry, I guess, but he's just a giant. Saquon Barkley to a degree. I think Bijan's got a little bit of that right now, but like nothing to that insane level of he can run you over and just blow right by you as well. So like, yeah, he was ridiculous and from the jump, just immediately.
I think he's the second greatest running back in NFL history on field.
Behind
Barry Sanders.
Barry?
Yep. And I mean, older people might say Walter Payton too. Yeah. Like, I'll hear that out. Like, I wasn't old enough. Emmitt Smith played forever. That's why he got that rushing record. Yes. He's like milking every yard he can. Like he broke it as a member of the Cardinals, didn't he?
I think he broke the record like his last season with the Cowboys, but then he played with the Cardinals because I think he broke I want to say he broke it against the Seahawks when he was with the Cowboys? I have like a image in my head of that. I
Oh,
think
yes, because they said I remember the radio call now.
yeah,
Yep.
but then he did play with the Cardinals because the
Mhm.
Cardinals are, they're where you go, where careers go to die. So that's where he went.
Or like you get out of Arizona and you play really well if you're Kyler Murray, or at least you hope you are. Anyway, we won't have any conversation about the Vikings quarterback competition, which are still pounding here. Like, we'll get to that in a second, I guess.
What's Byron Murphy? He's doing well. Not playing in Arizona.
Sure.
From there, he's doing well. Patrick Peterson did pretty well.
Yeah, he did okay.
Yeah,
he was fine.
Yeah,
but
like with Peterson, it's just you can't. It would just be weird to not have him in there, and it's well deserved. If you haven't seen the video like of John Randall surprising him, it's pretty cool where they have like John Rand. I think he was talking to Lindsey Young, who's been on the podcast multiple times. He was talking to her, and John Randall just like pops in. He's like, "Oh, hey!" And of course, anyone who sees John Randall is just like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" Like he puts everybody in a good mood. He's kind of like the football version of Shaq. I feel like everyone loves him. Like he always puts everybody. He's always in a good mood. He always puts people in a good mood. Then he brought him over to a curtain and was like, "Hey, can you check this out?" And it had like, I think it took Pearson a couple seconds to realize like, oh shoot, there's a Ring of Honor jacket in there for me. Like, I think he was like, oh yeah, this is cool memorabilia, and then he was like, oh wait, so it was pretty cool. I will say that was a cool part, where you don't have to think about all the other stuff. You can just focus on his football. Not that I'm saying you shouldn't, but it was a couple minutes there gives you the opportunity to do that.
And this is where, being a fan, you can decide what you want to do. If you can't get over the other stuff that happened off the field or the person he is off the field, you don't have to celebrate this. Like, that's totally
I'm
fine.
not going out and buying an Adrian Peterson jersey or shirt right now. I'm not.
Correct.
I'm not going to do that.
And if you were like us,
if you want to, that's fine.
And if you were like us, you can look up at, that thing and be like, he was a great Viking on the field. Like, that's kind of your call. I mean, it is polarizing, but I think both sides of the story need to be told there.
Yeah. Will Dante ever get in, you think?
Dante? Oh. How long
Tommy
did he
Kramer
play?
in? I don't think Tommy Kramer's in.
Good question.
I don't think he is. I think Fran Tarkins is the only quarterback in there.
If Dante won MVP in 2004,
should have.
Yeah, you could argue he should have. Yes. Maybe he's in the Ring of Honor, but I don't know. Maybe that's a good question. I don't know.
Do you know who his leading receiver was that year?
Nate Burleson. Or was it Kelly Campbell?
I think it was Jermaine Wiggins, actually.
Oh, Jesus. No.
No, you're right. It was Nate Burleson.
Yes.
I think now you got to look it up.
Because he blew up. I'm going to look it up.
It's because Randy Moss, he was hurt that year, and everyone's like, oh, he had that great year because of Randy Moss. And I'm like, Randy Moss played like 10 games.
And then he got the big contract from the Seahawks because the Vikings stole Steve Hutchinson with the poison pill. And the Seahawks are like, we're going to get you back and steal Nate Burleson. What do you think of that? Okay, whatever. Yeah, Nate Burleson had a 68 catches for 1,006 yards and 9 touchdowns in 2004.
Was Jermaine Wiggins on that team?
Jermaine Wiggins was not. Yes, he was. Wiggins had 71 catches.
Yeah, he led the team
for
in catches.
705 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Jermaine Wiggins.
So there you go. One of my favorite Vikings teams ever, because it was an absolute hot mess. Oh yeah, like Moss getting hurt, Brock Lesnar almost made the team.
Oh yeah,
like Nate Burleson blowing up and Dante just going.
Was Ontario Smith on that team too?
Madden. What's that?
Was Ontario Smith on that team too? I feel like
Ontario Smith was on that team. He was.
Or too.
I should double check. Was he? Funny story about Ontario Smith when he had the Wizinator thing. He was the leading rusher on that team, actually. 544 yards. They did not run the ball.
Maybe they should do a documentary on that team.
Dude, it would be awesome. I would freaking love it. There's Mowelde Moore, there's Michael Bennett, there's Mo Williams, Kelly Campbell, the Afros.
Was Chris Hovan still on there?
Chris Hovan was there, yes.
Or
Chavis. America's finest receiver on Sunday, Afros.
Yeah.
It was It was quite the squad.
Yeah, they had fun.
Speaking of, depth receivers, the Vikings got another one by signing Jauan Jennings from the San Francisco 49ers. It's a 1-year, $8 million contract that can be worth up to $13 million in incentives. Jennings becomes the number 3 receiver behind Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. 643 yards and 9 touchdowns for the 49ers last year. You might say, hey, that's pretty good. Also left on bad terms with Kyle Shanahan and the organization. He was called a hoe by Shelby Harris of the Cleveland Browns. And there's a lot to unpack there. He thought he was going to make $20 million. He settles for what could be 13. So what does Jauan Jennings to the Vikings do for you?
I mean, he's a giant upgrade compared to Jalen Naylor. I liked Naylor as he's a good guy, but you can't sit there and say that his skills are comparable to what Jauan Jennings has been able to do, at least in the last 3 years. Jauan Jennings has more receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns than Jordan Addison in the last 2 combined seasons. So I think people are assuming Jauan Jennings is gonna come in, is just gonna be a number 3 guy. I don't know if that's set in stone. I think he's got the talent to fight for number 2 snaps. I think it might be a more of a maybe wide receiver 2A and 2B, at least to begin with, early in the season with him and Addison. That's going to be an interesting like camp battle, I feel like, because Addison's kind of entering an important year where he's going to want a extension next year. That'll be fun. So he's going to be playing his butt off, trying not to get into trouble. I don't know if he ever does that, but we'll see what happens. But no, Jauan Jennings is he's a very good number 3, can be a good number 2, and I just think it makes it so much better to not be one Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison injury away from having Ty Felton or Miles Price as your number 2 receiver. I think is huge. Um, I've heard Jauan Jennings can block a little bit. A couple people have mentioned that to me, that he's a good blocker, which is great if Kevin O'Connell wants to run the ball. And he's been the coach now, he's going into what, his 6th season? 6th? 5th? 5th season? 5th season.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really run the ball yet, but now we're gonna think he does? That's fine, we can think that he does, but until he proves that he's actually gonna run the ball, adding another receiver who's caught, like, over 130 passes in the last 2 years doesn't really scream to me like they're gonna go all in on the run, especially when he's your number 3 guy. But no, but overall, like, I might sound, like, pessimistic here, but I'm super excited about the Jauan Jennings signing. I think to get him at that price when he was projected to be, even by over the cap heading into free agency, like 16 million a year guy, they got him for 8. I know it says the most at 13 million, but that's like if he hits every incentives and is like Super Bowl MVP probably. Um, so to get him at the price they did was great. They don't lose any compensatory picks because they signed him after the draft. So yeah, I think it's a good move by the Vikings. I would say it's probably their second best move behind Kyler Murray in free agency this year. Not that they've done a lot, but yeah, I think it was a good move. And yeah, I laugh when people are like, they got the fullback, they're gonna go 2 tight ends. They brought in the offensive coordinator from the Dolphins, like they're gonna run so much. No, they're not. No, they're not.
Believe it when I see it.
If JJ
And
McCarthy is the starter, okay, maybe. But if Kyler's the starter, no way. He's gonna throw like 40 times a game.
yeah. And good luck with that. And I mean, and not that I think Kyler sucks by any means.
No.
I mean, if you're in the, hey, let's win 9 games and pull the slot machine and see what happens in the playoffs, Jauan Jennings is a fine signing. And like you mentioned too, they had to go get him because A, Ty Felton just doesn't look like a dude. And B, what other options did they have? I mean, they couldn't rely on what they had.
DeAndre
So like,
Hopkins.
are you going to go sign DeAndre Hopkins,
Yeah.
who's 33, 34? Are you going to go sign Deebo Samuel, who got used by Kyle Shanahan, like Jordan Addison would use a rental car? Are you going to sign Stephon Diggs and bring him back? Because Adam Thielen's reunion tour worked so well. Like, there weren't a lot of options out there. So to go out and get Jennings and also not overpay for Jennings,
Right.
that's a good move. I also think this is interesting because of the long-term ramifications. Like, what if Addison screws up again? And we're sitting here like, well, we shouldn't pay him. So could Jennings be the number 2? Because he could elevate into that role. I think number 3 is probably where he should be on the depth chart because he runs a 4.7. I don't know if people saw that or not. So like all the crazy people making 3D posters, stop, because he's not
in the combine though. Like football speed's different than like he gets open. He clearly gets open because he gets a bunch of catches, but like.
And
yeah,
he could have had Taco Bell the previous
like
day
Chris
or something.
Chris Carter wasn't a burn. I'm not comparing Jauan Jennings to Chris Carter, but Chris Carter.
Somebody already compared him to Jake Reed. I think you're okay.
No, but there was actually like, was it? No. Oh yeah, I know who it was. I'm not even going to say his name, but somebody said on that wonderful platform X that you could argue based on talent alone that Jauan Jennings, Jordan Addison, and Justin Jefferson are better than Randy Moss, Chris Carter, and Jake Reed. And I'm like, what are we doing?
You clearly weren't born. Like, just
right.
Anybody who says that did not watch
Jake Reed was a 1,000-yard receiver twice.
Yeah. And they were all deep threats.
In the 90s.
That's why the name is 3 deep.
In the 90s.
The Vikings could sign the worst UDFA receiver to be their number 3 receiver, and like there'll still be idiots on Twitter like 3 deep. Look at it. I made this poster on ChatGPT.
Wasn't KJ Osborne in there once?
Yeah, people did with KJ Osborne. They did it with freaking Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
Like not like 2018 Adam Thielen when he was good. Like last year Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
They're just this is gonna.
You're right. Yep.
Like, good God, what are we doing here? I also wonder too if this turns into a Bashaud Breeland signing. And remember how excited we were about getting him. Like, oh, he's got Super Bowl experience with the Chiefs, and he's going to be a great addition to the secondary. And next thing you know, he's threatening to stick his Johnson in our mouth or whatever it was, like on Twitter. Look at all the stuff. Hang on, I will say this. He was fined last year for a post-game altercation with Trayvon Moehrig, who I believe punched him in the balls. He apparently crossed the line and trash talking with the Browns, like I mentioned before. He was screaming at Kyle Shanahan. Now, he was playing with 5 broken ribs, according to him. So, like, there's been a lot of people who don't like flat-brimmed hats in San Francisco and don't buy into the whole, Kyle Shanahan's going to call you for his hat back, by the way, with that. Just kind of, hey, how are you? What are you doing?
The logo's too big, though.
Oh yeah, it's got to be like it would be like my God. I'm not doing so well here looking into the camera.
Did I just say the number I? The letter I? My God,
we're both on one today.
Yeah,
that's for damn sure. His college career also had some red flags. He was dismissed from the Tennessee Volunteers in 2017 after posting an Instagram video ripping the coaching staff. Seems smart. And he stepped on the head of an opponent in 2019, drawing a 1-game suspension. So this could blow up. I've heard people be like, oh, who cares? It's $8 million. I don't know, man. I mean, $8 million, you could have kept Jonathan Grenard around since everybody thinks he's the greatest pass rusher since John Randall, Chris Tolman, and Jared Allen all rolled into one.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel confident in Kevin O'Connell. He seems to do well with keeping guys who are a little, I would say, feisty on and off the field, and more contained. They're going to have those things on the field where they get competitive, but I feel like there's a lot of players and coaches in that locker room that are able to help. Someone like Jennings, who just seems he's super competitive, which a lot of guys are, and a lot of guys go about that way in a different way. Also, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people scream at Kyle Shanahan when they're with the Niners because he just runs them all into the ground every single year, and then he's like,
"It's the substation."
It's electricity. It's not me, doing 2-a-days in January.
Running!
Yeah. We're not running hills right before the Super Bowl. So yeah, I think being in the environment, we both hate this, but the culture that Kevin O'Connell has built, it comes in handy when you sign someone like this. I also did hear, I think Judd might have thrown this out, Judd Zolgad over at Purple Daily, of this might have been a little favor for Drew Rosenhaus to help, facilitate. They got Drew Rosenhaus is also Jonathan Grenard's agent. He's also Jauan Jennings' agent. So, um, in order to get the Vikings to agree to get Jonathan Grenard out of there and trade him to the Eagles, perhaps Rosenhaus was like, "Hey, I'll give you Jauan Jennings. Maybe we'll give you a little discount." Seems like that's what happened. But Rosenhaus also, I think he's Van Ginkel and uh, Aaron Jones's agent too, so he's got a bunch of clients on the Vikings, so they're familiar with him. But yeah, like there's going to be guys like that on your team. I don't think he's ever been suspended in the NFL. Lots of guys get fined. Um, so I'm not too concerned about him. I like feisty. I like guys who trash talk on the field. I like them when they're on your team. I don't like Richard Sherman when he's on the other team, just berating you the whole time. But Jauan Jennings on the Vikings, yeah, I love it. I love it. Talk trash all you want. Don't draw some flags, which I can see. I guess you can see happening in a critical game, late moment. Which is what's our favorite guy, Mr. Chris Boyd, was also very
Yes.
good at that. But the Breland thing too, I feel like that was more. I feel like there was history of him like in the team of not being like getting along with everybody. He certainly didn't get along with Chris Thomason, one of the many, but whatever. He's a goat. Um, but yeah, I'm not concerned about that. I won't be concerned. Like I'm more concerned about Addison than I am Jennings. How about that?
Sure.
Is
Yeah,
that
no,
fair?
and I mean too, if Addison crashes out and he does something to not get a contract, you can live with Jauan Jennings as your number two, and then you can tap into that 2027 draft, which is
Yes.
absolutely loaded. But I know Kevin O'Connell trusts Jordan Addison to be his delivery driver.
Oh,
So I
his
mean,
babysitter, I guess.
yeah, I mean how
Car, he does carpool for Kevin O'Connell's kids.
let's talk about Kevin O'Connell because Vikings held rookie minicamp, and like I said, Kevin O'Connell spoke to the media for 15 minutes and basically said nothing. They also went down from 3 practices to 1 because he was overloading his rookies, I guess. But there's still a lot to take away, I guess. Yeah, apparently, including Kevin O'Connell saying he's stepping back from the general manager search. He said he will participate in whatever capacity ownership and Andrew Miller have for me. O'Connell says he has not been directly involved in vetting the initial lists of candidates, and O'Connell is working to establish total organizational alignment.
Bullshit.
I wasn't going to go there, but it was running through my mind.
Yeah, they're gonna get a new GM who doesn't agree with anything Kevin O'Connell wants to do.
He was literally in a meeting to determine whether to fire Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's not going to be in the GM search. And of course, you want this guy as the next GM's head coach. Like, they have made that clear. Like, Kevin O'Connell's not going anywhere for the foreseeable future unless
they go 2-15 or something.
Unless he hosts a Love Boat party with Diana Russini, Mike Vrabel, and everybody else. I mean,
more came out today, by the way.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to everyone. Mike Vrabel had to keep 3 different moms happy. It's not an enviable situation. The only one who had worse was probably Anthony Edwards, but we're crossing over into different sports there.
Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson too. Jesus. I don't know, man. I like anything Kevin O'Connell says right now, I don't believe it. Like, I need to see it, dude. Like, even Tom Pelissero is on Rich Eisen going like, this is a quarterback competition between JJ McCarthy and Kyler Murray. Why in the world, other than the Wilfs are going to fire you if you don't make the playoffs again, which I don't think is going to happen based on what they did this offseason. Why in the world would this be a competition? You went to go get Kyler Murray, and there's a report out that said that you thought he could be a long-term option. why would you pursue a long-term option when JJ McCarthy looked pretty good for playing with a broken hand in his last 5 games? That's what people don't remember. It's like the guy had a broken hand over the last month of the season. Might have been why some of those passes were sailing. I don't know. It was probably the footwork too, but I mean,
probably because he had a kid in October.
September. It was week 2.
September.
Yes. And then he didn't practice for God knows how long, and he was unprepared. And oh my God, the whole world just fell apart. And I don't think Kevin O'Connell should be fired. No. I think he's a good coach, but I also want to see him adapt. That's the next step for him. Adapt to what's going on. Don't just bang your head against the wall and throw 30 yards. Here's the other thing about the Jauan Jennings thing too. He has 2 touchdown passes. So you know what's going to happen on 3rd and 1. It's not going to be a run to Jordan Addison, or excuse me, Jordan Mason. It might be a run to Jordan Addison. They did it before because Max Brosmer was told to either take, count by numbers offense against the Lions. So, it's not going to be a run to Jordan Mason. It's not going to be a run to Aaron Jones. It's not going to be a run to, Tamad Claiborne, tie it, Devon Achan. Here he goes, the 4-3 speed. No, it's going to be a double reverse halfback pass, and at least Justin Jefferson will be downfield this time instead of throwing it to Kirk Cousins or whatever crazy shit he's got cooked up.
It could be a double wide receiver pass because Jefferson can also throw.
Whatever you do, don't have Justin Jefferson on the opposing end of the play.
That's all. No, but why would Kyler, if it was truly an open competition, we'll talk about the GM in a minute, but if it was truly an open competition, Kyler would not be with the Vikings right now. There is 0 chance he would be with the Vikings. There are other teams that could have signed him for. He's playing for the minimum. Do you know how many? Don't you think the Jets would just jump at that? Yeah. So it's not an open competition. That's Kevin O'Connell using his mouthpiece, Tom Pelissero. I'm sorry, I like Tom, but that's what he is. To try and make sure he doesn't break JJ's spirit, because we got to keep everybody happy, cool, calm, and collected. You want to have competition. You want everyone to compete. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, come on, man. I'm sure he twisted his words around with the GM search, he's not directly involved. Yeah, I'm sure you're not in the room meeting with every single candidate, but you're getting, maybe some emails, maybe Andrew Miller stopping in your office to talk to you about some of the candidates, give you some paperwork or whatever to check out. He knows what's going on. He's not just I'm just as curious as you guys are.
Who's this guy coming in?
I'm refreshing Twitter every day.
It's like working in the hardware department at Menards, and some guy came in to be the new general manager. What's going on here? Hey.
I didn't even know this was coming. Because especially if it's the dude from the Rams, McKay, it's gonna be yeah, I'm sure you had no input on that except that you worked with him when you were with the Rams. They didn't ask you any questions. And
he just showed up.
The Rob Brzezinski thing is funny too, because while they're in the middle of the GM search, they signed Jauan Jennings. So who's doing that?
Is that Mark Welp?
Yeah.
Just hey,
is Lindsey Young doing that? She taking over right now?
The current list of candidates, if you're interested: Rob Brzezinski, of course, after serving as Kevin O'Connell's Instacart driver this offseason. Terrence Gray of the Buffalo Bills, assistant general manager, spent 11 seasons with the Vikings as a scout. Dave Ziegler, I don't know. Assistant GM and former Las Vegas Raiders general manager.
Doesn't matter how
that doesn't sound good.
No.
John McKay, assistant GM with close ties to head coach Kevin O'Connell from their time together in Los Angeles. I think that's the guy I want. I'm not really sure. Nolan Teasley of the Seattle Seahawks, assistant GM, who has risen through the Seahawks scouting and personnel ranks. RJ Gillen of the San Francisco 49ers, assistant GM with a background in pro scouting. And Chad Alexander of the Los Angeles Chargers, assistant GM with extensive college scouting experience. So
he used to work for the Jets too.
So that's probably a no. I don't know. The whole thing about this general manager, I've said it before, I don't really care who it is because it's just going to wind up serving Kevin O'Connell at this point. But I mean, at the same time, anything that comes out about him, people are just going to be like, nope, no way. Worked on Wall Street, can't do that. Quasey worked on Wall Street. He's, he
Worked
worked with the Jets, worked with the Browns. Don't want that. John McKay. Oh, he looks like he's like 14. Don't want him. Like, it's just,
Can hang out with Tyler.
John McKay. Rich McKay is his dad. I was very concerned
McKay,
that I got the two mixed
Bucks.
up. But
his dad was the Bucks GM, and his dad was the first Bucks coach, I think, ever. John McKay Sr., I think. I'm curious about the Seahawks guy, because I think anyone who spends time under John Schneider within that organization probably has a good grasp on how to evaluate players, because they're pretty damn good at drafting. They've had some missteps here and there, but a lot of their roster last year, the Super Bowl roster, was from the draft. So if they want someone who's good at evaluating, talent like that, I feel like that'd be a good place to look. The Rams, there is that connection with John McKay. I question some of their methods of drafting. Not that they do a whole lot of drafting, because they trade their picks. And then the dude from the Niners, I'm just like, Quasey was with, we just talking about that. Quasey was with the Niners. John Lynch, not known for being the best. I think actually arguably the worst drafter during his tenure. So I'm not too thrilled about that. Like, I think it's the Seahawks guy. Like, this is the thing too. Like, I think someone from the Vikings Twitter sphere threw this out. Like, it's funny how everyone becomes experts on GMs when these guys pop up. All of a sudden, everyone knows about these guys. And it's like, no, we don't. We know nothing about these guys. We wouldn't know, like, what color eyes they have if we looked at a photo of them, because we don't pay attention to GMs. They get hired, and then unless it's someone like I can't, like a John Dorsey or a John Schneider, like if they were to get someone who has that pedigree and experience, then yeah. But there aren't really. I don't think there's anybody like that out there. I think I asked somebody the other day, like, if you could trade GMs. I don't think you can do that, because wouldn't the GM have to kind of facilitate that trade?
Right. I mean, this isn't so, again, cross sport reference, but like the Timberwolves wanted a new president of basketball operations when Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lore went there. And I'm telling this because it's a really funny story, because like Glenn Taylor was in that 2 or 3 year like transition window where he was secretly just like monitoring the value of his team, and then all of a sudden being like, I don't want to sell now. What are you talking about?
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, we're not playing this game. No, they went and got Tim Connolly because Denver was cheap, and they said, hey, we'll give you this and stock in the team.
Wasn't he with Utah?
Like, okay. What's that?
Is he with Utah too? Tim Connolly?
I don't think he was with Utah. Okay. I know he was with Denver, but yes. And I think he got something with the Wizards. But yeah, no, that situation's not going to happen, because like most NFL franchises are pretty functional when it comes to that stuff.
Like, who would you like? I said John Schneider, but like, I guess Howie Roseman would be like the number one target, probably.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted
like dream GM. Target.
And the Eagles they're not going to get rid of him.
No, they would want like, you talk about teams like, we should be able to trade more than 3 first-round picks. Philly would be like, give us 6 for Howie Roseman, and we'll see what happens there. That would not happen.
And like even the best teams, some of who are regarded the best teams, like their GMs aren't that great. Like the Bills GM, he's not that good. He's got Josh Allen. That's about it. He's been riding that for a while. Like the Chiefs GM. Chiefs fans are not that big of a fan of him. They've been riding Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid as far as they can go. Like there's not a whole lot of good GMs in the NFL. So it's, I don't know. Ultimately, saying all this, I still think it's Brzezinski's job to lose.
Yes.
So
I think that's who they want. It's just they're kind of just doing the process right now. So
absolutely.
I think it will either be, for more interest, Brzezinski or McKay. I think it's between those two. And maybe Gray.
I think Terrence Gray has a good shot.
Yeah. So I think it's between those 3 if we were to do finalists, but we're keeping the identities
he worked with George
of
Payton
our
too, I think.
Correct. So. Yep. We're keeping the identities of everybody's secret, Adam. Like we're just keeping all of it in house. Oh, wait a minute.
Except the insiders are like, no, we're not.
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Rapid fire because we're running out of time here.
Yeah.
Jacoby Thomas, rookie safety for the Vikings. Did I spell that right?
Yeah, you did.
JK.
You did.
Okay, good. I knew it was weird. I spelt it like the Papa Roach lead singer, and that was not it for a while. So, yes.
Jacoby
But
Shaddix.
yes, Jacoby Thomas described Harrison Smith as the perfect mentor for his rookie season. Said he talked a little bit to Harrison Smith and expressed excitement to learn under him. There's just one problem. He's contemplating retirement. So they went to Kevin O'Connell and said, hey, you heard anything? And he said, you know how we feel about Harrison. Harrison knows how we feel about us. Actually, he said they're going to give him as much space as possible. So when's Harrison Smith coming back?
Yeah, we'll see him in the middle of training camp.
Yeah.
We'll see
Probably
him
the last week.
After the media, after fans aren't allowed at training camp, we will see Harrison Smith there.
Yep. And then he'll stroll right in and
then he'll play 30 snaps in the first 4 weeks and be like, what's going on?
He's tired.
Yeah. No, he's got to be coming back.
The funniest thing, they didn't take a safety until round 3 makes me think, yeah.
Well, I would rather have them take a safety in round 3 than round 1. If you're going to take a gamble on a safety, it's not like that's the thing with like Dylan Thieneman. He was billed to the Vikings so often, and I'm like, he's not like a game breaker kind of safety like a Kyle Hamilton. I understand him getting drafted in the first round, but like Thieneman, if he went in the second round, I don't think people would be surprised. So no, but like with Harrison Smith, he loves Brian Flores, so the fact that he's still there is a big help. I mean, he likes Minnesota. He's been with the Vikings his entire career. Now he's got someone to teach. I don't think Jacoby Thomas was just FaceTiming with Harrison Smith randomly. Like, oh yeah, look who's here to talk to you.
How the hell did you get my number?
Yeah, right. Harrison Smith was not involved in the joint retirement presser. Not that I think he would even want that. He would deserve his own anyways.
Harrison Smith would send smoke signals.
He would. He'd fly his own plane. Put some purple smoke in the back and then just fly across.
I'm done.
The state. And just fly to Tennessee, wherever he lives in the off season.
Just in the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah, I think he's coming back. But it's like when Stephon Gilmore signed, but 2 years ago, he came like a week or two before the season started. Correct. And I'm going to assume that he was probably working out and learning the playbook before he came. And the thing with Harrison Smith is I don't think he stops working out, and he already knows the defense. So, and he's been more of like a coach on the field. So I think maybe the thinking is if we keep him around, kind of help younger guys like a Dallas Turner. He just drafted a bunch of young guys, keep a Harrison Smith out there to keep everyone in the right spot. That'll be super helpful than having Jay Ward or try Theo Jackson again there, or have Jacoby Thomas out there running wild, trying to learn Brian Flores' defense in like 3 months. So, I think he's coming back.
Other news from rookie minicamp, that is. Rookie practice, I guess I should call it. Caleb Banks did not participate. Kevin O'Connell said the Vikings have received more positive information regarding Banks' recoveries from a 4th metatarsal fracture suffered at the combine. Target for Banks to participate is late July. I don't think this is a big deal. I mean,
as we've said before, the Vikings have the best feet people. So,
Okay. On that note, the NFL schedule comes out.
Is that rapid fire? So.
Yes, the NFL schedule comes out on Thursday. So, Mom, you can quit asking now. Who do you want to see the Vikings play in week 1?
The Bears. But I think they're playing the Seahawks, but actually week 1. Let's go Bills. Bills, Vikings, US Bank. Oh, kick it off. Open the season against Josh Allen. Because I think they're rumored to be opening their stadium week 2 against the Lions on Thursday night. So Bills Vikings. Let's do it.
I am going to say the Packers because that's the only game half the fan base cares about, and
What do you mean?
they might be without Micah Parsons. They might be without Tucker
Hey.
Kraft.
Yeah,
Maybe
but do you want to play them early? Don't you want to play them at their full strength, Chris, to prove that you are the better team?
If we had more time, I would bite on that. I want to make puck drop, but I will say this. There was a post you made on the Viking Age Twitter account.
Yeah, people do
And
not
you
like
said, hey, Warren Sharp came out with this.
Yeah.
And he said that if the Vikings had lost to the Lions,
I messaged him. He sent me this message.
Yes. So Adam reached out to him to ask this, but the Vikings would have lost the Lions on Christmas or even the last game against Packers.
That's it. Just one.
Right. One more game, wherever it was on the schedule. Vikings would have the fourth easiest schedule in the NFL right now. Of course, now they're 16th. So Adam said, hey, this was a damaging win. And half the fan base decided, well, no.
I didn't know it was going to be like
win
that
against the Packers is meaningless. Hey, dude, go back and watch the game. They didn't freaking play anybody. You know why? Because they were in the playoffs and you weren't. I know you have the 5-game winning streak.
Who started.
Yeah, you have the 5-game winning streak and everybody loved it, except the Vikings don't even care about that. Because, like I said, if they did, JJ McCarthy would be the starting quarterback. But of course, we have to beat the Packers no matter what. They're the only team that matters. And I get to go into work on Monday morning and make fun of my friend Calvin, who I don't even like because he's always talking about the Packers, and I'm just sick of it. I want to beat the other 30 teams. And two, people are saying, well, we want to play the hardest schedule possible. Do you think the New England Patriots and their fans gave a shit they were in the Super Bowl? Like,
so sad.
They were just like, oh man, we're probably gonna lose and we're not good enough or whatever. The Patriots, they had a coin flip to win the freaking Super Bowl. If you're a Vikings fan, would you take that? Like,
yeah.
I've been going to therapy and I'm like, I really don't like the things I previously did in life. And my therapist said it this way. She's like, Chris, if you were 40 years old and you went back and you told 20-year-old self, like, this is what you're doing now. Yeah. And you can be happy, blah blah blah. You wouldn't care. Like if we were sitting there in September and us from February showed up and they're like, woo, and like, whoa, this is trippy. I gotta lay off the weed drinks. And like then he's like, dude, we're playing in the Super Bowl on Sunday. It was awesome. Like everybody fell apart, but like we just kept winning games and then we won games in the playoffs. It's insane. Like we might win the Super Bowl. This is crazy. You wouldn't care. You'd be like, hell yeah, Super Bowl. Let's go. We got a chance to end this thing. Like, but
yeah, like it'd be like if the Vikings won and then the NFL, Roger Goodell was like, good job, you got more points on the team, but I'm sorry to say your strength of schedule was easier than your opponents, so you don't get to go to the Super Bowl. They get to go.
Instead,
what?
It's going to be them, like WWE
soccer
style.
Have, like, some weird
bang on the drum just hits. Jordan Love's out there. Aaron Nagler is, hey, how's it going, everybody? Screw you guys. We had the hardest schedule.
Said, we went to Packers week 1. Beat the Packers.
Peter Bukowski just running out there, just talking down to us like we're children or something.
You know what I will be excited about? There's no chance of the Vikings playing on the second doubleheader of ESPN Monday Night Football because I believe those are done.
Thank God. But now they're on like streamers or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Tuesday night football every day of the week. Pretty soon Sundays are just going to be like, Yeah,
Australia. They're going to play football at 10:30 in the morning in Australia.
Rhea Ripley was probably excited.
She'll be there.
She'll be there, yeah.
Yes.
She might bench press a 49ers offensive lineman, but
it's on Netflix.
Yes.
She'll be there.
Oh, yeah, she will be there. You're absolutely right. Hey, quickly, what's going on at the Viking Age?
Well, Chris is back writing for the Viking Age. Happy to have him back. Gets to actually show his true fandom and not pretend to be a Vikings fan, writing about other teams. So we're happy to have him back. But yeah, we're still watching. We got a schedule release tracker this week, so we're keeping an update on that, rumors and leaks and fun stuff like that. Like I don't think we mentioned, but schedule release 7 p.m. Central on Thursday. I'm sure. I think last year the full schedule released before, so keep an eye on that. So we'll be looking at that stuff, and then OTAs are. I think there's some going on this week, and then some more throughout the month. So yeah, we'll have plenty of stuff to talk about. Schedule, I'm sure. But yeah, go check it out, thevikingage.com.
And of course, I am back as the Viking Age, as Adam mentioned, but I'm still writing Vikings and Twin stuff at zonecoverage.com and wild coverage at Hockey Wilderness. I'm also on all of the
You're everywhere.
fan-sided Minnesota sites now. So Dunking with Wolves, Gone Puck Wild. I'll be writing at Puckett's Pond eventually. So and plus the Viking Age. So basically, I am Mr. Minnesota at fan-sided now, which is awesome,
That's
super
pretty
fun
cool.
and
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty jacked. It's honestly a dream job when I think about
Yeah.
it. So it's super fun. But of course, part of my duties also include the Viking Age podcast, which is the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. Check out VikingAge.com to keep up with everything going on with the purple. And we do this right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. We're in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode and we can spread the word to the masses. He is Adam Patrick at Adam Patrick NFL. I am Chris Schad at The Real Chris Schad. SKOL.